That was the moment that had me standing upright on my sofa, pointing at my screen. Which reminds me, I need to buy a new sofa. In today's video, I want to talk about Fallout. Now, actually, I need to talk about Fallout. In this video, I'm going to list 5 things about that Amazon Prime series that released a few weeks ago, that only real fans are going to know, appreciate, that will get them to jump out of their chair. But first, let me give you a bit of a review, kinda. And I'm going to keep it as spoiler-free as possible. As you might be able to tell, I am quite a big fan of the Fallout game series. Yeah. Well, I kinda skipped on Fallout 76 because I'm really bad at sharing my loot. I did play a lot of the single-player games. In some cases, I might have played them 6 or 7 times. And I'm going to be honest, I was kind of worried when Amazon announced that they were going to do a live-action series about Fallout. See, I've seen a lot of my favorite games being turned into live-action movies or series. And that usually never works, which is because gaming is kind of a personal experience. It is kind of impossible to match everybody's personal story within any gaming franchise, because we all kind of interpret and experience it in our own way. That feeling of, nah, that's not how it happened, it creeps up pretty fast. In this case, however, it worked amazingly well. This Fallout series is not only my favorite game adaptation up till now, it's one of my favorite series I've seen this year. But on the other hand, I might be a little biased. Look, the reason why I think this series actually worked is because the Fallout games take that personal experience to the next level. There's so many choices to be made, there's so much freedom on how you make these choices and how you discover the world around you, that everybody's experience within that game is very different. And for some reason, someone else's experience will not influence yours. It's almost like you're playing a different game, if that makes any sense. Although there are similarities, of course, there is always that lost family trope in every single Fallout, in which a vault dweller needs to leave the vault and face the bare wastelands to find the lost family member. And look, that by itself makes any Fallout fan smile, because it's so recognizable. But it's just like Coop says, you know, the ghoul, which is being played by Walton Goggins. The golden rule of the wasteland is, thou shalt get sidetracked by every single time. There's always so much going on in Fallout that you spend about 10% of your time on the main questline, and the rest is spent on side quests and building, farming vegetables, whatever. The second ingredient to the success of this series is the effort they put in making it look, feel, and sound authentic. The sets, the props, the procedures, the tone of the characters, it's all extremely accurate. And that is because the showrunner, Jonathan Nolan, is actually a huge fan of Fallout. And because Todd Howard, the president of Bethesda, the studio that made, well, the last Fallout games, was closely involved. And sure, there are some things that are different, for anybody starts typing in the comments, but overall, they just nailed it. I can't recommend it enough. And season 2 was confirmed already, so more is coming. That being said, there were 5 things, 5 moments in the series that just had me smirk, smile. And at some point I even jumped on top of my sofa, pointing at the screen while laughing maniacally. It was not a pretty sight. I'm going to throw in an extra one right at the end that almost had me cry. But don't tell anybody, it's just between you and me, okay? And look, there's a ton of moments within the series, things that warmed my heart, like seeing the power armor for the first time, or the Brotherhood of Steel airship, the references they did to VATS. There's a version of Dogmeat, the mentioning of Shady Sands. Hell, even the red roaches. Those are all moments that hit home for me. Anyways, I'm going to start rather simple. It is something that is very obvious, but is not being explained in this series, and I actually love that. It is the currency that they use in the wastelands. Caps. They literally are bottle caps. Most of them are from Nuka-Cola, which we also get to see in some shots. Oh my god. And they did not put any effort in trying to explain it. It just feels like it is reality, it's truth. It all felt so normal and I loved that. By the way, seeing those Nuka-Cola bottles really got me thinking I needed to loot them for some reason. And so did the deviled eggs, by the way. Now, the second thing on this list is actually tied into that. You might have noticed that all the squires in the Brotherhood of Steel have this huge bag that they kind of have to drag around. That is actually something you do not see in the game. But in a way, it is implied in the game, where it actually references something really important in the game. See, as a character in Fallout, you have an inventory. And that inventory has a capacity that is based on weight. A lot of weight. Like a powerlifter would whistle at the weight that you can carry as a single character. But since almost every single item in Fallout is lootable, bag management quickly becomes the thing, like a game within the game. Otherwise you become encumbered and you can't move anymore. That bag on the Squire's bag is a reference to all that beauty. Now, while we're talking about collecting, number 3. In Fallout 3 and apparently also in Fallout 76, you can collect garden gnomes. It's one of the side missions or the little achievement things. If you pay attention throughout the series in the different episodes, you'll see those same garden gnomes hidden somewhere in the scenery. For us that played the games, they stand out tremendously. For other people, well, they just glance over them. It's a garden gnome. The fourth one is actually a bit of a spoiler, so if you haven't seen the series yet, cover your ears. In the later episodes, Norm breaks into the Overseer terminal. And to do that, he uses the same hack system that you have to use in-game to break into these terminals. That was the moment that had me standing upright on my sofa, pointing at my screen. Which reminds me, I need to buy a new sofa. And number 5 on this list actually gave me goosebumps. The opening of the vault door. Just seeing that whole opening mechanism, seeing the platforms move around. That feeling of stepping out into the wastelands for the first time ever. Good God. Now, the one thing that I would have done, just to nitpick a little bit, is use the Fallout 4 music when the vault door opens. It just resonates so much better. But they used the Fallout 76 music, so. And then later in the series, one of the last episodes, you actually get to hear that Fallout 4 theme. Right in the fields. Talking about music, that whole soundtrack, perfect. Okay, I was talking about that one more thing I was going to add. There is one iconic line that comes back in every single Fallout game. It actually starts that way, or the trailers at least do. And that line is, war. War never changes. In the first Fallout game ever, it was actually Ron Perlman, you know, from Hellboy and Sons of Anarchy that said that line. This time around, it was Coop's wife, Barb, who was being played by Frances Turner, who got to say the line. And later on, in that same episode, Coop repeats the line, or at least a part of it. It was the most iconic way that they could have closed down this first season. The first season of what promises to be an amazing series. And I can't wait. Let me know in the comments what your favorite moments were in this series. And if you're going to say that ritual, I can understand that. But I look forward to reading your comments. Now, I think I'm going to install Fallout again and work my way throughout the whole series. Or maybe I'll just watch the television series again. I don't know. In any case, make sure to subscribe and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.